Hello students, welcome to Basic Anatomy and Physiology Summer Session 10 weeks. We have a great deal of learning to do in the next 10 weeks, and in this video I'm going to take you through the course and show you where all of the resources are. We will go through 6 units, which are all very similar in terms of the work that you will produce during those units. So whenever you log into the class, you're going to see our pages as the front page. And these are places where resources for the module are compiled. So in Unit 1, you see here that first we lead with our student learning outcomes. And then I've uploaded the study guides from the Holes 12th edition textbook. And if you use these documents while you're reading, you will go far in retaining the information and then also producing documents that will help you to perform during the quizzes. And there are 6 unit quizzes. As you scroll down, you'll see I've loaded some other resources for you. So in this unit, we'll talk about chemistry. So here are 2 different periodic table views. And then I've tried to produce for you at least one image for each of the major learning outcomes. And these just support you if you're sitting on the bus or you have some downtime. You can look at this on your phone and it'll still give you some knowledge. The textbook also contains a great deal of information, and I highly recommend that you interact with the textbook, and I'll describe that in just a few minutes. So these are the topics we are going to cover in the first few weeks of class. If it looks like a lot, it is a lot. You need to be reading this textbook pretty much all the time. This is a very condensed version of the course, and I certainly don't want you to fall behind. There's no time for that. Okay, so you'll also want to check in with the announcements every time you log in. Try to do this, at least every other day, if not every day. And this announcement will open in the morning. And to differentiate between what we just looked at and the announcements are about housekeeping. They're about technical things, what's due in the week, what you need to be looking out for, if there's a schedule change, etc. And here's the syllabus is attached at the bottom of this first announcement, but then you also can get the syllabus right here. Now this page populates this calendar, and I prefer you don't mess around looking at this calendar because I have organized for you in everything set up by the units in the modules. So please take a look at the course through the modules as much as you can. Don't let the due dates lead the way. So each unit will look something like this. The first page redirects you to that page we just looked at. We'll also have discussions, and they're noted by this chat bubble here. In the first unit, we have 2 discussions, one where you introduce yourself and one content discussion. You can see that I put right in the name of the discussion when those relevant due dates are. But you please participate as early as you can. Get this out of the way. Also realize that your discussions, that's the formative assessment in the class. You can get an A+ in the discussions, and that will help you to balance the summative assessment of the quizzes and the competency demonstrations. So do not neglect the discussions. That should be the first and easiest part of this course, and it will help you to learn in the most comfortable way. Now during the course we have 2 group assignments. They're case studies, and this is where you read 1 to 2 page essay, and then you and your group members will compose written submission, and the details of that are explained in the assignment description. So with the first case study, we will have a round of revisions. So there's a due date of 6/8. I'll turn this around right away, and then you'll have the rest of the week to implement the revisions and resubmit it. Okay, these are very simple directions, okay? We're taking some relevant information in our cultural society, and we are applying biological concepts. And we're critically thinking about the world we live in. I need to see a written submission that covers both biological concepts and critical thinking. So that's a tough balance for some people in science writing, and that's why we do this in the class, to enrich this skill. So our first case study is about genetic disease. Let's go back to the modules. Let me show you something else here. So once you get into a unit, oops, sorry. At the bottom of every page is a next button. So you can read this like a book and carry through the pages using that next button. It'll take you through the assignments. But I find myself often just clicking here to go back to the central area where all the information is stored. Now let's talk about these competency demonstrations. So throughout the course, you know, there's not a great deal of homework to be done. There's there's the 2 case studies, but then the thing that I need to get across to you right now is that learning is about time on task. So the more you study and the more time you spend interacting with the materials, the more likely it is that you'll learn them. And so what I'm doing here is providing you with a lot of opportunities for showing me your efforts in studying. Show me that you know the information in a way that you have developed. So you can either write essays, you can make posters, you can make online presentations. There are lots of things that you can do, and we'll talk about that in a few weeks. But the idea here is that I'm giving you credit for your time on task and giving you an opportunity to show me what you learned beyond the quizzes that I've prepared that show me what you've learned in a summative way. Let me mention one other thing. I really want you to be able to incorporate your work if you already work in a healthcare field or teach. Or you can also go and access resources in your community, like going to conferences or museums. This can also be part of the competency demonstration. But you have to communicate with me, and we will have a discussion in which you can do that. But if you have questions right away, please email me and we can start talking about it. So about halfway through the course, you're going to have to submit at least an outline of what you've been doing essentially to learn the information. Obviously, I recommend that you do this work all along the way and don't save it for the end. But by halfway through the course, you need to at least express your intentions, if not show me the work you've already done preparing throughout the semester. You can enter the discussions using this link here. The relevant discussions are always pinned to the top, and then there are other discussions that pop up as time permits. So once we get into Unit 2, we'll have new discussions, and then Unit 3 discussions, and so on and so forth. Going into the quizzes here. So this quiz, what it contains are multiple choice, true, false, matching, and essay questions. You need to prepare for this exam. This is going to be really tough if you haven't done any work. This is why I recommend that you fill out the study guides that I showed you on the front page, because that's basically 90% of the work you need to do to prepare yourself for these exams. You're reading, you're writing, you're transferring information, and these kinds of activities are time on task that will help you learn. Okay? The other thing is, going into the healthcare field, you will be required to take standardized tests. There's no way around needing to take tests. Testing skills are very important to your career path. So we are practicing that here, okay? Going back over to our sidebar, we have pages, which is this front page we looked at the beginning of this little video. Now, I want to tell you about the online resources available through the textbook, but I'm going to do that in another video. So, thank you for listening, and if you took the time to watch this video, please send me an email when you get into the course tomorrow and tell me what your birthday is. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you tomorrow.